Did you know that there's a horror franchise that's been going on for 25 years with nearly 15 movies in its series? Have you heard of it? Probably not. What franchise am I talking about? Camp Blood. Starting in 1999 by David Sterling, this shot-on-video horror movie about a masked clown killer stalking a camp has gone under the radar for decades. So my goal is to watch every single Camp Blood movie in the franchise to convince you to watch at least one Camp Blood movie. Now let's roll. Camp Blood, written and directed by Brad Sykes. So we open up with two people hiking through the woods. And listen, if you've seen any horror movie ever, this is code for we're gonna die. Like, who goes in the woods to bone? There's hotels. There's couches. Hell, the backseat of a Honda Civic. Something. They don't even make it 5 minutes until the clown shows up and then just stabs the fuck out of them. Then we cut to our main group of campers. Oh, they read a news article where they find a missing girl by the camp and they don't give a fuck. The guy tells them don't go in the woods and they don't fucking care. So they make it to Camp Blackwood. Trisha stares at the sign that has spray painted Camp Blood on it. That's the title of this movie. Oh, and the tour guide Karen is a little creepy. They're telling ghost stories around the campfire. They tell the story of the camp murders from like 20 years ago. Then they wake up the next morning and Harris is dead as fuck. Everybody freaks out and they just start darting in different directions. And one by one, they start getting killed off. And let me tell you something, the kills, this is where they spent their money. The clown shows up and the clown is just hacking everybody left and right. Oh, and the clown snaps a dude's neck with his bare hands. And then we get to the ending. Trish makes it to the guy who's like, don't go in those woods. And the dude just plows the clown over. Trish just starts hacking away at that dude. Plot twist, somebody we knew was evil. Trish pulls the clown mask off the clown, revealing that the clown was Harris this entire time. Did it make sense? Absolutely not. Did I care? Absolutely not. But at this point, I fucking loved it. We cut to like a year later where Trish is in a mental asylum thinking about the clown. The clown shows up, taunting Trish. Camp Blood. Camp Blood 2, written and directed by Brad Sykes. So we open up with the survivor of the last movie, Trisha, and she's all traumatized from the previous movie and sane. Trisha's in the mental asylum and she's like, hey, the first movie happened a year ago. If I went through the first Camp Blood, I'd need therapy too. There's a film crew making a movie about the events of the first movie. The director convinces Trisha to come out into the woods and just hang out with them, which is insane. She watched all of her friends die there and they're like, hey, you want to come and hang out and LARP your trauma with us? Bro, if a killer clown killed all my friends in the forest, I'm never driving past a Chuck E. Cheese ever again. Okay, well, maybe I would. They drag Trisha back into the woods as their consultant. Oh, and there's this random scene where this actress is just cutting a banana with a steak knife. And then she just immediately gets killed. So anyway, it's a movie within a movie. It's like Scream 3. We meet the film crew, discount Wes Craven. And the director has no fucking clue what he's doing. A bunch of actors that look like they were kidnapped from community theater. And a boom mic guy who's clearly questioning his life choices. There is another campfire scene where they talk about the legend of Camp Blackwood again. And wouldn't you know it, our clown is back. Surprise. They really want you to think that the killer clown is somebody in the film crew. The clown stabs this chick in the face. So Trisha's hanging out with a group of people. She walks back to the camp to talk to the director where the clown shows up and stabs him in the head. Trish freaks out. She fucks off and leaves. And then we get to the big reveal where the clown is Harris's sister getting revenge over what happened from the first movie. So now Harris's sister's like, my sister couldn't have been the clown. Trish, you're the clown. You killed all your friends, and now I'm gonna kill you. She casts herself in a movie to get revenge on Trish from a year ago. Couldn't she just go to the mental asylum and kill her there? No, because this is a much funner idea. Eventually, we get to the big showdown. Trisha versus the clown. Trish lights her on fire. She runs into a tent. The tent bursts into flames, and then she just disappears. She shows up. Trish takes the machete and just starts hacking away, and she's dead as fuck. Camp Blood 2. Within the Woods, written and directed by Brad Sykes. So, upon research on this movie, I come to find out that this isn't technically part of the timeline, so I'm just gonna skip it and go to the next one. Within the Woods. Camp Blood, First Slaughter, written and directed by Mark Polonia. Hey, it's a Mark. So Camp Blood First Slaughter is technically Camp Blood 3, because Within the Woods doesn't fucking matter. So the movie starts off with, can you guess it? A bunch of college kids going camping. The clown gets decapitated by some random masked guy, and then the random masked guy kills another random guy. We're at the college, and the college is giving a course about urban legends, specifically Camp Blood. So the professor is making all 5 of her students watch this video about the murders of Camp Blackwood, and then boom, the clown shows up, same mask, same machete, same killer energy, kills the girl, while the guy filming it is like, oh no, there's a killer killing my girlfriend. Let me keep filming this. So they completely disregard what we learned in the first 2 movies, and they say that the killer clown is a guy whose girlfriend Harris cheated on him, and the random masked dude just kind of roams around swinging his machete. Oh, and this guy gets stabbed in the stomach and he reacts like he just stubbed his toe. We get to a title card that says 3 months later, and the movie fucking turns into a found footage movie. What the fuck? This dude is just filming random bullshit. We get another campfire scene where they tell us the legend of Camp Blackwood again. So the random masked guy shows up and he just murders everybody. And I love the reaction of this random girl who's getting murdered and filming, and she's trying not to laugh. Eventually we get the big climax, the clown versus our final girl. And then we get the magical twist where the professor is the killer this entire time. So for the 3rd time, the killer is a woman. And remember, this is a found footage movie, so the dude throws the camera down. So who's filming this? And the final girl just stabs the professor to death. And the movie hits us with the big reveal. The clown is nothing. They don't even try. It's like they just picked a random cast member who's like, it's him now. Camp Blood, First Slaughter. Camp Blood 4, written and directed by Dustin Ferguson. So the movie starts off recapping the last one, and out of nowhere, they just renamed the Camp Blackwood to Camp Black Tree. We get a solid 5 minutes of this girl getting ready. She watches the news, and then we watch this girl walk around the town for like fucking ever. There's a new clown killer, and it's definitely not a woman at all this time, I swear. And then, for the next 9 minutes, we get our archival footage bullshit, where they show us scenes from the previous movie. And then, we get our classic campfire exposition dump. 54 minutes in, the clown finally murders somebody. The killer clown murders everybody except for Raven, and then we get the reveal that the killer clown is her ex-boyfriend. And then that guy gets killed by the real clown. And the movie fucking ends with to be continued. Might as well end with, see you next time, dork. Camp Blood 4. Camp Blood 5, written and directed by Dustin Ferguson. So the plot, if you can call it that, starts off with Raven, which means we get an extended scene of Raven just wandering around the city. She eventually makes it to a costume shop. And then it cuts to Raven watching a movie, and then we get more archival footage bullshit! Where for the next 10 minutes, Raven watches this movie that has fucking dick all to do with this movie. Raven goes to her therapist to talk about her ordeals. And you guessed it, we get more archival footage bullshit. Where we get scenes from the previous movie. And Raven has a flashback to scenes that she had no part in. Where an hour into the movie, Raven grabs her two best friends and she's like, hey, let's go into the woods and find that killer. And you're thinking, okay, the previous movie took place 3 months ago in a random part of the woods. There is no possible way that Raven and her two friends in the dark of the night are gonna find the cat killer. Nope, they just find him almost immediately. The killer clown kills the friends, but doesn't kill Raven. And then out of nowhere comes Raven, and then she kills the clown. And then Raven becomes the new clown. What the fuck? Camp Blood 5. Camp Blood 666. Of course, that's the title. Directed by Ted Muring. The movie starts off with a cult bringing the clown back to life. And you're like, all right, we had like 5 clowns before this. Which one could it be? The clown is Stan Cunningham. Who the fuck is Stan Cunningham? Richie's brother? So Betsy goes to find her brother who joined a cult at Camp Blackwood, and there's more people who are watching TV for an extended period of time. But my favorite one is the dude eating cereal. The entire time they keep talking about Stan Cunningham and the Camp Blackwood massacre. So in the first one, Harris was like, hey, Stan Cunningham is like the guy, but it turned out to be her. Honestly, this is a little confusing. But anyway, the couple is just walking randomly through the woods. And then the killer clown just kills this ranger guy. And this movie gets a cool point because the clown has fucking laser eyes. And it's revealed that the clown is Betsy's brother, the one that joined the cult. So her brother kills her and her boyfriend. And it turns out that Betsy and her brother's dad is the head of the cult. So they only talk about the Stan Cunningham murders and not the other ones? Camp Blood 666. Camp Blood 7. It kills. You get it? Because it's it kills and it's a killer clown. It kill clown. Anyway. Directed by Mark Polonia. Alright, we get Mark back. Movie starts off with these dudes just smoking weed on a boat, talking about the killings from the previous movies. They talk about the killer clown in the clown mask, but nothing about the recent murders. And immediately, the killer clown shows up, stabs the fuck out of the chick. And then we can see that the killer clown has long blonde hair, wearing a fucking beaded necklace. I wonder who the killer could be. It's gonna be that guy. So the big group of teens are heading to spring break. They make it to Camp Blackwood, which it doesn't say Camp Blackwood at all. It just says Camp Blood. And they're like, hey, something supernatural is gonna happen. This one guy fucks off and leaves, and we see the killer clown watching them through the window. And the killer clown fucking transports and kills the guy who left. The title of the movie is called It Kills, but what it really is it suggests violence. The killer clown chokes the girl with her own guts. The dude gets his throat cut, but he manages to fight the clown. But it's okay, him and the chick just walk it off. And he's limping for no reason. He had the machete to his throat. But it doesn't matter, he gets stabbed and he's dead as fuck. The girl and the clown get into a scuffle. She pulls the mask off, revealing who it is. But the girl goes fucking nuts, and then she becomes the new clown. And then she just fucking hitchhikes. Camp Blood 7. It Kills. Ghost of Camp Blood. Directed by Mark Polonia. Hey, Mark. We start off where the last one left off, where the clown, after he got his machete to the head, just is still alive. He pulls the clown mask out of the garbage. And then we get the news who are talking about the killings, even though there wasn't a camera around to put this on the news. Turns out that the clown from the last one was Stan Cunningham. Stan is shot multiple times, even though he got stabbed in the head in the last movie. So, how does this ghost kill people? That's the best part. It It doesn't really. There's a paranormal show that does a special about Stan Cunningham. Oh, and this girl was killed in the last one, but she's here, so I'm assuming this is her twin. And then we get archival footage bullshit. We get scenes from the last movie. Again. And the clown magically shows up in front of this guy, and this is his fucking reaction.
Okay, funny guy. Hope you have clown insurance.
And this guy just turns into the clown. They're trying to get the clown to cross over. And everybody reacts to the ghost like they just saw a raccoon. Like they're supposed to be screaming in terror, but they act like they just accidentally rammed their balls on the corner of a coffee table. The big finale. This dude just stabs the mask. And apparently that kills Stan Cunningham. That's it. No payoff, no twist, just ends with a boo. Ghost of Camp Blood. Camp Blood 8, Revelations, written and directed by Dennis Devine. So the movie starts off with 20 years ago with a guy just has face paint, not a mask at all. And then we jump to present day where a volleyball team is on a way to a volleyball game, probably. And then they pass by Camp McGuff. Apparently it's a new camp. They have car trouble, the car breaks down, and this girl's just in a bikini all the time. And instead of the campfire, they talk about, hey, this is the camp with that killer clown. And then this guy from the first movie just shows up. Apparently he was just wandering in the woods. And it's not like a same actor, different characters. This is the same guy playing the same character, even though he got ran over in the first movie. And the clown has this really weird incestual relationship with his mom. And the mom makes out with her son's masked tongue. Yep. The girls are roaming through the woods and the sneaky clown sneaks up behind them and they have no fucking clue that he's like 2 feet right behind them. And the clown just reaches his hand in their bag and takes the keys with no effort whatsoever. Oh, and this ghost guy shows up and he just warns them, hey, you guys are gonna die. The clown and the mom, they kidnap the bikini girl. The clown shows up, kills this girl. Then they say that the dad would wear clown makeup and kill people. And the son doesn't know how to put on clown makeup on, so he's just, fuck it, I'll put on a mask. And then they say that, so cause she was left in the woods, she goes crazy and she wants to kill her and her son. And then you're like, okay, here we go. Here comes the big fight. And no, this dude just shows up and cuts her head off. The clown shows up, stabs him. We cut to the next day. The clown is like, I don't want to wear the mask anymore. I want to do the makeup like my daddy. They get into a scuffle. Ashley takes the machete, kills the clown. The mom puts the mask on and then she goes fucking nuts. And then the guy from the first movie that just randomly popped up, he shows up, he's like, hey, can I get a ride? And he's not a bad guy at all. And then it cuts to our clown is still alive. But the best part of this movie is the end credit song.
And look over there, it's Richard Gere. I think it's Gere. Hey, Richard Gere, what are you doing here?
And just like the Marvel movies, there's an end credit scene where it turns out the clown is in a cult. If you're gonna call your movie Revelations, then you better reveal something. Bro, that wasn't a revelation, that was a shrug. Camp Blood 8, Revelations. Camp Blood Kills, directed by Mark Polonia. Fuck yeah, Mark. This entire movie is archival footage bullshit. Camp Blood Kills. Children of Camp Blood, written and directed by Mark Polonia. That's my guy. So the movie opens up with us back at Camp Blackwood. And apparently there's been killings here for the past 20 years. And shocker, the perpetrator has not been caught or brought to justice. And then we get archival footage bullshit. Were the previous Mark Polonia movies, fuck yeah, Mark, were just a dream. We cut to Camp Blackwood Rehabilitation Center. Apparently that's a thing. Mysterious man grabbing a brand new clown mask. So the clown is wearing the mask, and then this other random dude just shows up in a mask as well, cause fuck it. But apparently they're just two random bros, just guys being dudes. The doctor shows up, he's like, he's got PTSD. And then we cut to what I'm assuming is the clown. The doctor is talking to one of the dudes, and the dude is like, yeah, one of my loved ones was killed by the clown. And this guy that looks like homeless Jesus says, my dad was on a paranormal investigation show. This girl Judy shows up, and then this one bearded guy just gets stabbed by the clown. The doctor tells Judy that he also survived the clown attack when he was 16. And my favorite part is you could actually see Mark Polonia behind the camera in the reflection behind the doctor. So the bald guy from the previous movie now has a different name of Marty Banks, and he's on this paranormal show talking about what happened in Ghost of Camp Blood. And they also reference part 7, so those two are now in continuity with this one, I think. And then they mentioned Sam Cunningham was gunned down, so the part in the beginning of this movie where they said he never got caught, they just threw that out the window. And then these two people from part 7 are this guy's parents. But anyway, their ghosts haunt the son. Oh, and it turns out Judy's mom was a woman that got killed on the boat from part 7. And then homeless Jesus has flashbacks to an event that he wasn't around to see. To fast forward through all this, the clown just murders everybody except for Judy. She's the final girl. Judy and the clown, they get into a scuffle, and it turns out homeless Jesus is still alive, and the clown was the doctor. And it turns out the doc's real name is Jared Cunningham, the half-brother of Sam Cunningham. She cuts his head off, she grabs the mask, and then she goes insane. Children of Camp Blood. Camp Blood 666 Part 2, Exorcism of the Clown. What? Directed by Will Colazzo. So I'm assuming this is a direct sequel to Camp Blood 666, but let's find out. So the movie starts off with this couple going to a bar on Halloween. And right away they ask the bartender, hey, do you know where these kills happened? And then we get archival footage bullshit, where we get clips from 666. And then we get the fucking boat scene from part 7. They just love that scene. And then we cut to some cult members talking about being taken over by a witch. The clown shows up and murders the couple. Alright, turns out the clown isn't just a murderer, he's now possessed. By what? Nobody knows. A demon? A land? To keep the franchise going? Fuck it, probably all three. So then we get to the news who are saying, hey, Camp Blackwood is now back open, despite just several murders happened here. And then the ghost of Anne from part 7 just shows up. Oh, and the killer clown was this person named Ari. The police are just bullshitting and they say Ari killed his sister, but that witch from the cult now controls someone. And then we get a different clown mask, and the priest brings his congregation to the murderers. The priest is like, hey, my brother was killed here a couple years ago. The clown mask guy shows up. He just starts killing people left and right. The priest looks at this girl's boobs and he's like, I kind of feel a little tempted here. And then we get the reveal that the priest's brother was Betsy's boyfriend from 666. And then this like woodsman guy, he suggests that Ari was the killer clown from before. And then we get two clowns, one wearing the half mask and one wearing the full mask. And they're just two meaty men just slapping meats. Ari, the one with the full mask, he gets choked out by a comically large chain. His father's like cult control revives him. The clown with the half mask grabs the chick with the boobs and he's going to use her as a virgin sacrifice. Grace shows up. She interrupts the sacrifice. We now get the exorcism where they purge the demon from him. The clown shows up and he just starts killing people, but luckily this guy shows up with a gun and he saves the day. Grace takes the machete and she kills the witch. And the police show up and they're like, what the fuck just happened here? Camp Blood 666 Part 2, Exorcism of the Clown. Camp Blood X, animated, directed by Jason Pearl. I don't know why they keep numbering them. I don't think X means 10, considering this is the 12th one of them. If you saw my last Horror Hound video, I found Camp Blood X on Blu-ray, which is one of the first times I found a Camp Blood movie in the wild. And also I found out that this movie was animated by one guy, and as one guy who's currently animating a movie by himself, I appreciate this, even though the movie has PlayStation 2 graphics. So shout out to everybody involved with this movie. Movie starts off with this woman getting killed with an old-timey sword. It turns out it was thrown by the killer clown. And then we cut to what I think is a campus dorm. And also, this guy is wearing a fucking Things t-shirt. But anyway, they're just drinking beer and they're talking about getting away from the weekend at their dad's place in the woods. And this guy fucking drinks a beer and then burps the alphabet. We cut to these girls. One of them found a mask that's from a cold case. They all get into the car, they drive to a sorority house, and then pick up some more friends. So they're like, hey, we got a long drive to Florida. How about we spend the night at Camp Blood for the fuck of it? Oh, and apparently Camp Blackwood is open again, and that's why they made reservations there. They stop to get gas, and the locals are like, hey, a bunch of people disappeared like 3 years ago. They also say that several people have worn the clown mask and killed people. So I don't know where the continuity where this one lays in the franchise. I need that Charlie Day mapping meme to figure this timeline out. They get to Camp Blackwood and they say, hey, the kills happened 30 years ago. And then we get a campfire exposition dump scene. They say there's been many killers over the years, all wearing a clown mask. And the girl pulls out that clown mask and she's like, this belonged to one of the killers, but she doesn't say which one. Later that night, somebody wears the mask and starts attacking people. This girl wakes up tied to a table with a saw blade coming off, and it just kills her. And now there's 2 killer clowns. Oh, and this girl, Janie, apparently she's a killer and she kills this guy and then just shoves him off of a cliff. So Heather is now the last one remaining. So Heather puts on the mask and it turns out there's a whole slew of other killer clowns, and she's like, I'm one of you guys now. Camp Blood X, animated. Camp Blood, Clown Shark. Fuck yes, Jawsome. Directed by Jeff Kirkendall and Mark Polonia. Alright. So the movie starts off with this very jaunty clown just skipping through the woods. But the clown is chasing some woman who has like a seizure flashback thing. And then we get this guy that looks like the Mrs. Dad. And the clown shows up behind the Mrs. Dad. Oh, and the clown has different hair than what he had in the previous scene. And then it cuts to nighttime. The girl tricks the clown and then cuts his head off. And then we cut to 6 months later. And then we see the mask is floating underwater and it lands on a fish. And then we get this. What the fuck? Yeah, that's the fucking tone we're getting. And then we get a woman who, get this, is on the phone talking about how she's afraid of sharks. The fish wearing the clown mask hears this, and then he fucking transforms into a shark. And then the clown shark just fucking eats her. Dude, what the fuck? So it turns out that this guy's cousin was the clown, and then he just tells the cop about like, hey, my cousin died several times. The cop is like, huh, that's fucking weird. And then he just fucks off and leaves. There's this guy fishing. Jerry, she's fantasizing about the killer clown. Jerry's doing some online research and she comes across a news article about the Camp Blood murders. And then the clown manifests into a human form and then attacks Jerry's friend. And he chokes the fuck out of her. But it turns out that was a dream and she has like hand marks on her throat. And then these fucking rednecks show up just to harass Jacob. And then there's this like weird mirror where this lady gives this warning to Jerry. And this fucking shark just comes out of the water. But then they get killed by a guy in a mask. The doctor calls the sheriff. So the sheriff and Jerry are now gonna team up to stop the shark. And then Jacob is at the lake. And then we get a nod to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 trailer where a hatchet just comes out of the water. And he's wearing the clown mask and he's now the killer. But Jerry stops him with her psychic powers. And then she sets him on fire. And then he just fucking vanishes. And then Jerry buries the mask. And apparently the mask is still cursed. Camp Blood, Clown Shark. Camp Blood 9, Bride of Blood, directed by Will Colazzo. So the movie starts off with these people shooting like their own Jackass ripoff at Camp Blackwood. These two random girls are like, hey, let's just fuck off and try to find Camp Blood. There's a therapy session about people talking about the events of Camp Blood, and the Camp Blood clown killer is on the loose. The clown shows up wanting a bride, and then he just starts chasing everybody around, killing everybody. Oh, and fucking Eddie Munster is in this movie playing a cop. The bride is teamed up with the clown, just killing people. Camp Blood 9, Bride of Blood. Now, which Camp Blood movie would you watch? What if I said I left out one more Camp Blood movie? Would you watch that one? Now what if I was in a Camp Blood movie? What if I said I played the killer clown? Would you watch it then? That's right, you're looking at the Camp Blood killer clown in the upcoming Camp Blood Christmas, directed by my good friend, Matt Dilts Williams. When Matt first asked me if I wanted to be in Camp Blood Christmas, I thought he meant as some victim that gets about 30 seconds of screen time, gets killed off right before the credits roll. But I was still in. I was like, hell yeah, man, kill me all day. Instead, he looked at me dead in the eye, pun intended, and said, how about you play the killer clown? To which I replied with, hell yeah, man, let me kill people all day. That was the moment I realized two things. One, dreams come true. I grew up with Freddie, Michael, Chucky, and now I get to be one of them? And two, I was about to scare people for a living without spending thousands of dollars on therapy bills. Playing the killer in a long-standing franchise like Camp Blood was surreal. I grew up on these movies, rooting for the survivors, secretly thinking, it looks way more fun to be the clown with the machete. Getting to slip into the mask and become the villain was like Halloween and Christmas all wrapped up in one, which, fittingly, was the point of the movie. Filming was less like a typical movie set and more like a summer camp with tons of fake blood. We laughed between takes, swapped inside jokes that made no sense out of context, and bonded over the fact that most of us were sticky with corn syrup at least 80% of the time. Instead of counselors, we had our director Matt. Instead of s'mores, we had some of the best food ever prepared by Dave Huffman. And honestly, I look forward to that every day. But what made the experience more magical wasn't just the gore or the campfire atmosphere. It was the people. Somewhere between running around in the clown mask and perfecting my menacing walk, the cast and crew became a family. We had each other's backs, we cheered each other on, and reminded each other that no matter how insane the script got, we were all still in it together. I became instant friends with Jeremy over our mutual love of 80s hair metal. Alyssa, Charles, Laura, we all talked about our love of professional wrestling. Sydney became a really close friend, and she's low-key one of the funniest people on set. James L. Edwards gave me tons of insight and told great stories of acting. I'm sure I bothered Emily every single day with questions about how awesome her makeup effects were. And Dave Huffman, who was a close friend, became a closer friend, and he made me a fan of Robbie Williams. And then came the last day, which hit harder than I can possibly imagine. My best friend, my dog Emilio, passed away that morning. And for a while, the whole movie seemed unimportant to me. Crying my eyes out, I drove to set because I thought it would be better to be productive and shoot this movie rather than staying at home upset. But that's when the cast and crew showed their true heart on this project. Everyone came together, not as filmmakers or actors, but as friends. They comforted me at a moment where I needed it the most. They carried me through the day and reminded me why this experience is much more than just a movie.
My name is Alyssa Wexler, and I play Sheila in Camp Blood Christmas.
I'm Jeremy White, and I play Donovan.
My name is Allison Egan, and I play the role of Courtney.
So I play Tim.
I would say my most exciting memory from this film shoot was when they brought out the bloody prosthetic penises. There were actually 2 of them. We only used one, but I think when those came out, literally everyone in the room died. It was hilarious.
My character is like the party guy, and he's drinking and driving and smoking a weed pen. I wasn't really drinking for the role, but I was smoking an actual THC pen. And this was the very first scene that we shot at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and it took us probably like 3 or 4 takes to get the shot. And every time we shot it, I probably hit the vape pen probably like 5 or 6 times. So by like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, I was completely baked.
Got a couple things that I really enjoyed about being on set. The first one is playing Tim, because who doesn't want to play the worst parts of every person we've ever met?
I think the memory that sticks out to me the most is probably how fucking cold it was.
And the second part is everyone was so talented and so passionate about delivering such a quality movie. It was just so refreshing to be around, and I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of it.
Everyone that worked on it was super talented and super great to work with, and I'm really excited for everyone to see the finished outcome.
In the end, Camp Blood Christmas wasn't just another entry in a wild horror franchise. It was a moment in time where strangers became friends, friends became family, and a lifelong dream came true in a way I'll never forget. We laughed, we cried, we bled, fake blood mostly, and we made something magical together. And if Emilio was watching from wherever good dogs go, I'd like to think he's proud that I became the killer clown.
Don't miss the screams, the sleigh bells, and the slaughter! Camp Blood Christmas playing Saturday, October 25th at 9:30 p.m. at the Capitol Theater in Cleveland, Ohio.